Hey guys, how's it going? Okay, I'm just making a real quick, spontaneous video here regarding the latest developments in the economic crisis that America is dealing with. What I'm going to deal about now is my favorite vice presidential nominee, Sarah Palin. Sarah Palin is in an article from the Associated Press, and I'm just going to read some of this to you. First of all, it says, Republican vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin said Wednesday that the United States could be headed for another Great Depression if Congress doesn't act on the financial crisis. Okay? It goes on to say, as Palin sought to establish her credentials in world affairs, First Lady Laura Bush said that Palin lacked sufficient foreign policy experience. It goes on further to say, in a CBS interview, asked whether there's a risk of another Great Depression if Congress doesn't approve a $700 billion bailout package, Palin said, unfortunately, that is the road that America may find itself on. Furthermore, in the interview, Sarah Palin was questioned for examples of John McCain's experience when it comes to the economy. The interviewer, I believe it was Katie Couric, reminded Sarah Palin that McCain had been chairman of the Commerce Committee. Palin said, I'll try to find some and bring them to you. So obviously not a ringing endorsement about John McCain and his experience with the economy and examples. Okay, the reason I cited those is because of a couple things. The fear-mongering that is going on in Washington, whether it be Henry Paulson, Sarah Palin, or whomever, is atrocious. These are our leaders. These are our national leaders who are supposed to be, leading us. And yet all they're doing is scaring us, frightening us. We've been frightened enough the last 7.5 years. We don't need any more. We need our leaders to come up with comprehensive plans, negotiate, compromise, and above all, reassure us that they will lead us. Instead, Sarah Palin is looking up and going, the sky is falling. The sky is falling. She's acting like Chicken Little. Now, you and I both know we don't need Sarah Palin to tell us the sky is falling. We can look up. We can see it falling. We can see how bad this economic crisis is. What we need from our leaders is not to state the obvious and try to politicize this. Is try to actually come up with a plan. Not a plan that has to be done in 12 minutes. A plan that needs to be negotiated, compromised, worked through, and above all, make the American people understand it. Here we are now, 10 days since this recent crisis happened, and I'm not including Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Bear Stearns, which happened earlier this year. This is about Lehman Brothers and Merrill Lynch. This is the most recent crisis. 10 days has been since that started. Have we had a national address from our president? Well, no, he's finally getting around to it tonight. Okay? So much for reassuring us or leading us. And now Sarah Palin is going on talking about, hey, we could be facing another Great Depression. First of all, who are you to compare this economic crisis to an absolute cataclysmic event that our country has faced, the Great Depression? Were you around then? I know I wasn't. How could I compare it to it? You certainly can't compare it. And yet, it's obvious why she's doing it. She wants to scare us. She wants to fear us. Make us afraid and frighten us. I hate fearmongers. In 1933, our 32nd president, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, said in his inaugural speech, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And here is a an absolute perfect example of that. We have a vice presidential nominee who lacks foreign policy credentials, who lacks domestic policy credentials, is now trying to put the fear into our hearts. Never mind that we're a great country, the strongest democracy in the world, that Americans are resolute and persevere. No, never mind that. We don't care about that, right? All we care about is frightening us and making us afraid. How dare you, Sarah Palin? How dare you? And above all, as much as I respect John McCain, how dare you, John McCain, try to politicize this by calling off your campaign, suspending your campaign, and then wanting to call off the debate? Yeah, with the recent numbers, I don't blame you. But you know what? You're not exactly strong on domestic policy. And how are you going to lend your voice? Maybe you should concentrate on running for president versus, running back to Washington. I am floored. I am just absolutely floored by how low these candidates go. I am shocked that Sarah Palin would say this stuff. But you know what? Kudos to Laura Bush. That was great. She told it like it was. That Sarah Palin lacked the credentials for foreign policy. Yeah. Yep. So, election is what? 41 days? That's right. Our economy? Is our economy going to collapse in the next 41 days? No, I don't think so. But you know what? Action is needed. Absolutely. But we don't need fearmongers going around saying the sky is falling. We need everyone to work together, do their part, do their jobs, and lead us, and everything will be fine. Everything will be just fine. But you know what? We have too many Chicken Littles out there. Sarah Palin is a big-time Chicken Little. Pardon the pun. Okay? So Sarah, the sky may be falling for you, and it may be falling for our economy, but you know what? You fail as a leader. So go back to Alaska and leave the leading to the real leaders. Okay? See you guys later.
Somebody pinch me!
Oh joy!